Hi guys, it's Aegis here. So today I'm here with a new deck profile that we received from DCBT03, and instead of starting with like what we consider normal nations, this time I'm actually going for the VTubers nation, which is Yakumo Beni. So this is a VTuber collab, and the deck is actually very good. There are two variations of this deck. One is to basically rely on every resources you can with the VSPO parts, which is not what I'm going to show you today. I'm going to show you the Dark State experience because Yakumo Beni is actually a dual nation between VSPO and Dark State. So if we choose to go for the Dark State route, then we can only use the dual nation cards, that is VSPO plus Dark States and then Dark States cards. So do be careful about that. And then go through the red line first, and then we will go through the main deck in a bit. So basically the red line is all Yakumo Beni. So nothing too much you need to care about, because we are basically running the VSPO red line, so all effects will just go on. So for the grade 1, if the grade 2 run Yakumo Beni run on top, you can call it a Riga Circle, and then on Riga Circle, when this card attacks a boost, it will get 5k, and after the battle ends, it will go into the soul, which is mandatory. So as long as you use her to attack or boost, you will get a power buff, but she will definitely need to go into the soul, which is a good thing because you need to count your souls with your grade 3 Yakumo Beni. And then for grade 2, if basically got your grade 3 to run on top of her, then you can search your deck for a Kurumi Noah card from your deck, and then call it a Riga Circle and shuffle your deck. And that is very key for you to squeeze your deck, and we will talk about Kurumi Noah in a bit. And then when she appears on Riga Circle, you can put one card from your hand to your soul to draw one card back, and then get plus 5k power, so it helps you to build up your soul. And why you need to build up your soul is because of the grade 3 Yakumo Beni. So at the start of the battle phase, for each 5 souls you have, your opponent's Vanguard will get minus 5k. And if you have 10 or more souls, then your opponent will need to put one regard into their soul if they want to. It's not a must, but well, it's really up to you. Yeah, because it's a select one of the opponent's regard, and you can choose to put it to soul, so it's up to you. So yeah, that's very important, and it's kind of a board wide. Well, not exactly like clearing everything at one time, but at least you get some removal to put something into soul. But it sometimes benefits specific decks, but in a lot of different decks, putting in soul is the most annoying part. And then when this card attacks as a Vanguard, you encounter the last one, and depending on how many souls you have, she got the following effects. You have 4 more souls, then you can choose one card from your soul to call it to Riga Circle, so you will have a 4th attack. And if you have 9 or more, during the battle you will get 1 drive. If you have 13 or more, you will get plus 1 crit. Based on my experience, it's not that easy to get the 13. It's possible, it's just not that easy. So I usually don't care about the plus crit part. I focus on getting 9 souls so I can get a triple drive. And then because I have 9 souls or even 10, then basically I'm minusing my opponent's for at least 5 to 10, and then I'm gaining extra drive. And if I get person arrive, then that will make the power difference a lot higher. Even one time, I think when I go in a later game, that I minus my opponent's like 15 to 20, and then boost with person arrive and such, and then my opponent's just use like a over trigger. Usually he just put it down and just like say that's all. like over to pass, or when over is out, then it's like a no pass, right? This happens to a lot of us. But with this deck, you can actually tell them that sometimes it is still a one pass. It can happen. So this deck is very, very strong so far based on what I tested with. So if it somehow get into English, I think she can definitely generate kind of another meta, or get into the meta during the sets. Okay, let's go into the main deck. Now, we need more souls, we need the power, that's why 4-person ride is needed, and it's okay, like even if she gets into the soul, or you just person ride her, because you can just pull her out as an attacker if you need to. So I don't see any bad point about that. And then I'm running 3 of this, it should be Hydia Cycler Dragon. I don't know how it will be in English when this card released, maybe get a different name, I don't know. But this is a common we get from DCB203, and is a kind of a hidden diamond for this deck. So the skill is when this unit attacks, you can soul charge 2, and then put all triggers that you soul charge by this effect to the bottom of the deck in any order. So this soul charges, but then it will never soul charge any triggers into the soul. They will all go to the bottom of the deck. And for each card that you put at the bottom of the deck, basically the triggers during the battle, this card will give us 5k. So if you put 2 triggers into soul, both of them go to the bottom of the deck, and then this card will give us 10k power. The power is a little bit random, but at least you are soul charging what I call quality cards instead of just triggers, which is very important if you get to shuffle your deck after. So that means you are trying to filter non-trigger cards, and then you go to shuffle it so that the triggers from the bottom will just have a chance to go up again. Right. So I see this card is very important. And then another reason why this is important is because it is a grapefruit card, which, because I am running the mate here, Servant Facracia, so she, depending on what you soul charges, will gain power, and most times we will just ride our person ride, so it's not that easy to go into the drop zone. This is something that you can ditch early game, and then use this to recycle while gaining power, and then use your Yakumo Beni to call back out, right? So which makes grade 3 units becomes very important for her to gain her highest pop buff. So that's why I'm using this card. And then we have 4 of the energy ride cost, which is very good for defending yourself, and just when you use your ditch for using your ride deck, you get an extra draw. So I think it's very good to have, but try to avoid using the counter blast because you need to save some counter blast for your Yakumo Beni, and also to your Kurumi Noah, because what she does is when she gets called to the Riga circle, you usually counter blast 1 to call this little fancy devil army Roro to do your things, right? And if your Vanguard is a grade 3 VSPO basically, then you can use free energy instead. But like in early games, before you get to your grade 3, because she is a grade 2, that means during your grade 2 turn you can already call her out and start squeezing your deck, and from there you need to use a counter blast, right? So that's why we try not to use counter blast for this to draw a card, so that you can save counter blast for you to squeeze the deck, which when you call the great one out, you will first get to put one card from a drop into your soul, so it fills up your soul count a lot faster. And when this boosts this, after the battle ends, put both of them into your soul, you get to draw a card. So you are basically increasing 3 souls just by this action. And as long as you have 2 in your soul, this card will get plus 10k. And when your opponent is great for your heart, it's a little bit late game stuff, but because once you put this into your soul, it's not that easy to pull them back out. You can, but because when you're using your Yakumo Beni skill, you're trying to increase attacker, not booster, because else you will be doing free attacks. So Yakumo Beni is not likely going to call this, and in my build I'm not specifically focused on like soul blasting cards, because we are stacking up our souls so that we can minus our points a lot higher. So once these goes in, they usually just goes in and stays there. So the extra 10k actually helps to adjust the power. And then for the Bifrost, because we want to get some key pieces, we want to keep, fill in our souls, and it's just a simple counterblast, get it done part of things. So yeah, but again, do be careful, like the other counterblast cards you use, don't use them all up so you don't get to do your 4th attack, which is very important. And in 4 PGs, if you want to use the Blitz Order, feel free to use that. I just want to keep it simple. So there we are. And then 3 of the Cage of Furious Stars. This is basically how we can just recycle after using this, and it's another great free card for her to get her biggest power buff. So it's still very good card, and I'm very glad to see this card actually get a reprint as a promo in JP version. So yeah, there you go. And like, you can actually call this out as well if you need to, but maybe just because what I usually play against requires me to call something on the front row, because these 2 will just go into the soul. Even if you bring a new attacker, which will be another one, and then call another one, then you will just put them back into the soul. So your front row is kind of always at least one side empty. So this will most likely going to call something to the front row, because this 5k is going to help a lot, right? But that's the option that you can actually call this. And then for the regular piece, I'm using the manga Koro manga promo. So this one, you can use Counter Blast 1 on Energy Blast 3, so it's just kind of like this. You will draw 1, remove this card from play, it's not bind, remove from play, and then choose your Vanguard to get plus 15k. And if you put from drop or soul to bind a same name card of your Vanguard, it will be a 25k shield instead. And it also got another skill: when you use this card as a ride deck cost, you can Counter Blast 1 as Energy Blast 3 to draw a card and then remove this from play. I am not sure if the Ians are going to get this card, but if you don't have this card, you can choose to use other regular piece that you will see fit. Probably the draw 2 or counter charge, because you use a lot of counter blast, so having a chance to counter charge, or when you have enough resources as counter blast but not enough cards in hand, then draw 2 may be helping you. Or you can use the other Blitz Order to just save yourself, that can works as well, or even just a Angel Ladder to protect yourself from like Dominate or something. It's up to you, but I see this defensive quite good, and the flexibility for me to just use it to draw 1 if I need to, because there are always some cards that I want to keep, and if I need to make a choice, then at least this can turn me into another card. So yeah, but yeah, again, I don't know if Ian's are going to get this, but so far this one fits in the deck, so I'm using it. but I did tell you other options if you want to use, so you can follow that if this card never get released. Hopefully it will. Triggers. I am testing this deck with the light OT because we are minusing so much. Even though when you see minusing so much, you will think they will always drop a PG, right? But that's not always the case, because like I did say in another case that when your opponents just give out a OT to guard, right? And this is something that basically help you break through numbers except PGs, because they have limited PGs, and this also allows you to do board wipe, to draw cards. So I'm putting it there. I think it's at least better than the Dark Stage OT, because the crit can always go into the Vanguard, even though it's a continuous, every single turn you get that. But this is more for a long game and like a sudden game changer. If you want to use the water OT, it works. If you want to use the fire OT, it works too. If you want to use the dark OT, I don't think it fits very well. It's kind of still heal yourself with damage so that you can just kind of save your counterblast while creating another attacker. But because you are attacking one, calling one out to get 3 standing, well, 2 standing regards and an attacking Vanguard, right? So hitting the dark OT means you can only get an extra booster instead of attacker, because else you will need to just place on a standing regard for the extra 10k, which I don't see it worth. So if you ask me what I would choose, is the light OT, water OT, and fire OT. Probably those 3. Yeah, I think so. But overall, I think the light OT is very interesting to put in, and it's easier for any of your opponents to not expect this to happen. And if they go in with numbers, you suddenly go in, okay, light OT, retire all your guardians, go away. So yeah, I think it's a very interesting choice to use. So far I'm happy with that. And then crits, I am running 7 crits, because in the end we'll have chances to increase our crit anyway. So I'm putting more on the front, also for the defensive, because this deck you are relying on the Kurumi Noah pair a lot. So that means you are generating your regards without actually committing a lot, because you call one, you get one out. You go into grade 2 to grade 3, you get one for free, and then you get this out immediately. So your board, what you always need to do is probably just play and order the cage to get another one, or just play one from hand, and then you basically have 3 lines, right? So that's a lot of resources that you can save in your hand, and then you're forcing your opponents to guard a lot because you're minusing their power by a lot, so they need to give you a lot more stuff. And because you always want to put these into your soul, so you'll be always boosting. So that is basically kind of like a 23k line already, assuming your opponent's -5. So it's easy for your opponents to just commit a lot more stuff, and then when your Vanguard is attacking with 2 standing regards, a front is something that can just ruins their calculation again, because they might just get a 2 pass and then you get 2 fronts to just walk it in, and then your other 2 units will also get the plus 10k buff from the front triggers. So yeah, basically just try to ruin that number plays, also with the light OT, and then ending with 4 heals. Yeah, so the deck idea is very simple. You just squeeze your deck, draw a lot of cards, put a lot of cards in soul, minus your opponent's power, do 4 attacks every single turn, trying to get to triple drive as fast as possible, and then through time, your minuses a lot, you're attacking for a lot, your opponent's going to give you a lot of stuff, right? Because just a simple person, right? Plus this putting a grade 3 is already a 35k swing, right? And then your -5 on your opponent is kind of like a 40k swing, -10k is a 45k swing. If this just continues, unless you're like a Soger that you can keep recycle your gardening resources, I don't think you can just simply guard over through time, right? Unless your opponents just try to outbest you with resources play, then yeah, if that really happens, then you need to be careful as well. Because I even got sometimes that I don't have any counterblast to use, but at least you can still get to minus your opponent's power at the start of the battle phase, and probably at least put one of their regard into soul, so you need to care about one thing less. And then from there, you even through 3 attacks, it's still hard for your opponents to guard when you're like minusing 15, minusing 20 through time. I don't see this deck to actually like kind of decking out very fast in a way, like in a long game, because you're minusing a lot, so the game's still not going to stay this long. So yeah, overall I really like this deck, and I didn't expect a collab that is not Bank Dream is going to go this far, right? So yeah, I'm happy with the results. I am still trying to test out the MR one, which is the Dragon Empire and VSPO Dual Nation, and once that's done, you will see that as well. Yeah, I think that's it for this deck profile. If you have any questions, feel free to put it in the comments down below. If you have other thoughts, you can put it in the comments down below as well. I might get the lyrical and VSPO stuff to make a VSPO only version later, but it will be a later thing, not like very early stuff. So yeah, it will take some time. Subscribe for more deck profiles, deck fights, unboxing videos, and yeah, I think that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you guys in the next video. Signing off.